Welcome to the Beer and Nonsense Podcast, brewed by the Michiana Beer Reviewers, engineered by assistant brewer Kevin Christie. Now, here are your hosts, Christian Milovich and Thad Schmidt.
What is going on? Christian Milovich, Thad Schmidt. We've got Kevin across the way.
I'm here.
And we're about to have some good beer. A couple times, Kevin, you've already said you're just here for the beer. This is the perfect one to be here just for the beer. We're joined by Alex Sexton. It's that ethanol guy. He is a home brewer, and he turns out some good stuff. If you follow us on Facebook, you've seen him. So he's come in. He's talked about his Dragon's Milk clone. He also came in and did a Hop Slam clone with us. What would we call it?
Hop slap.
Hop Slap.
Hop slap.
And
So
it was
guys,
delicious.
You know what? So this is your second Dragon's Milk clone, correct?
Yes, this is version 2.0.
Okay.
Yep.
So I hear you said a little more chocolate.
A little bit more chocolate.
I'm excited about that.
And you still use the same bourbon barrel process?
Yes, yep. Soaking the oak chips
Yep.
and some, I officially call it Evan's second chance because I use Evan Williams to soak the oak chips. So
Nice.
yeah.
Nice. So will you take our audience here on the podcast through the brewing process for this? Like, what do you start with? You don't have to give all your special secrets like the bottles don't. So, but let them know what happens in the process for Evan's second chance, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So basically it starts with some grains. You got to start with some grains that are going to have some, sugars in the background there. The first step in the process is going to be mashing those grains. So you're activating the amylases that are naturally occurring within. So that's going to take about an hour to do that. Once you do that, you try and get as much of what you call it the wort off of the grains as you can. That's going to be the sugary liquid that you have left over. You go through a sterilization process. You're boiling it. You're reducing the volume a little bit to concentrate up the sugars even more. And from there, you just got to cool it, pitch the yeast, and let those little buggers go to work. So
Nice.
yeah,
Nice. And you do all of this in either your backyard or your garage?
pretty much depending on the weather. Do I want a little bit of sunshine that day, or is it raining? Doesn't matter, rain or shine. I'm gonna find a place to brew.
Nice.
There you go. And is your dad still doing this with you?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Nice. Yeah, you got to get Dan involved, right?
Yeah.
So, you're for real scientist too. Like, this isn't like you're just playing around here. Like,
No.
you know what you're doing with all these chemicals.
No, I got a chemistry background, and so I'm looking at this from a scientific perspective. Writing down every single detail throughout the whole process, and looking at it afterwards and saying, all right, what can I do better next time? How can I improve this experiment? So yeah, that's something I'm always going to be into for sure.
Oh,
All
that's
right,
great.
Alex, I got a question for you.
Okay.
I've got this, one of your brews here for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to hard pour this or not? I've got an average pint glass here. This is a question that somebody's going to ask you. Which way should I go here?
If you want a little bit of a head, I'd do a little bit harder of a pour.
Will do. I'll be back in a minute.
All right. So yeah, I'm ready to get into this. So you did say that this one sat for about a year. So this is second edition, but it sat for a year.
Yeah, it's been cellaring in my basement.
Nice.
Keeping it a little bit cool. It's a higher ABV. I believe this one came out about 8.9.
Ooh. All right, 8.9. And it is dark as dark can be.
Man, like outside right now, like it is dark. It's black, and then it's got a really nice light tan head on it. It's a gorgeous looking stout.
Yes. And then the nose, immediately as I put it up to my face, it is bourbon. Hello, bourbon.
Sure is.
But it smells delicious. I'm a
just
bourbon
had
guy,
one.
so
Yeah, I just had one the other day, and it aged well, in my opinion. So
okay.
Yeah.
Well,
All right, well, shall we clink it? What? Oh, okay. The mic will get it.
Oh, it's got it.
It's got it. All right. Wow.
now, did you guys pour the yeast in too, or did you leave a little bit?
No, yeah, I poured it in.
oh, I poured it in.
Yeah. Remember, we like it that way.
Yeah, I remember.
Not the way he wants us to drink it. We like it our way.
I prefer to leave the yeast behind. I think I don't like how it tastes with the yeast in there, but that's personal preference for sure.
It can give it a sour note towards the end, but I don't mind unfiltered at all.
At all. And so this one's got a bite to me. I think this one's hitting hard with the bourbon, especially kind of very back of the tongue. Not leaving a whole lot of that bourbon heat, but it's hitting hard with it back there. And I'm liking it. It's smooth, man. This is smooth.
I think I said before on Facebook, this is one that I'm just going to keep on coming back to. This is going to be my signature beer here.
Yeah, when you leave your science job and open your own brewery, this is going to be your go-to.
There you go.
All right, so we need an MBR beer too.
Yeah, what's up? You know, we are now professional brewers. We've done 2 now.
Nice.
One with Studebaker and one with
South Bend
Brew Works. So we are professional brewers. We poured grain into a cup.
Wow.
Yeah, he smashed some blueberries.
I did.
Lucille Ball style?
No, you don't want these feet anywhere near your
No.
what you're going to consume in your body. So
No.
Here's a nonsense part of this.
Okay.
Lucille Ball almost died in that scene. Do you remember where she was smashing the
Yeah.
grapes?
Did
Yeah.
she really?
She was choking on a grape, but as she was acting, she was trying to get through the scene because it's expensive to put stuff on film back then. So she went through the entire scene choking.
Wow. That's a professional.
that is professional.
Then they were like, cut, get that grape out of her throat.
Wow. Man. Well, that's why she was one of the best, right?
It is. She
A
was one
natural
of the best.
brunette, not redhead.
Did not know that either.
There you go.
Why do you know so much about Lucille Ball?
I'd rather not talk about it.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
And
But I would talk about this because this is bourbon. Like,
Yeah.
you can taste it. If you were, this is Evan Williams, right?
Yep.
If you're an Evan Williams fan, go ahead.
Yep.
If you're not, go ahead because this is good.
It is. And I'm a bourbon guy, so I love the taste of that bourbon when it first hits you. Then you get the maltiness, and then that bourbon comes right back up. I get a little bit of heat at the back of the throat. I think your first one, we had a little more bourbon heat.
Mm-hmm.
I don't miss it because it feels like it kicked it up. At least the flavor kicked up in that bourbon, and it's good.
Yep, for sure, for sure. I don't know. Like you said, you think you probably put more chocolate on this one. I'm not getting a whole lot of chocolate out of it.
Still not enough, huh?
Now,
No. And I don't know. I mean, I'm enjoying it the way it is. That's not it at all. But I don't know that I'm really getting a whole lot of the chocolate. The maltiness I get just, it's not tasting super chocolatey to me.
Well, I guess I know what I'm doing for version 3 then.
Going more chocolate, huh?
okay,
Or creme brulee.
Yeah.
Figure that one out.
hey, we will be the taste testers all day long for you. We don't mind at all. I promise.
All right.
Cool with that.
So you were telling me when I called you and asked you if you want to come on, though, that you're more into bourbon right now than you are beer.
Not necessarily just bourbon,
All right.
whiskeys in general. I'm, for some reason, just got into a little bit of a whiskey kick. You know, I'm sipping on bourbons, ryes, going across the pond a little bit, sipping some single malt scotches, and so I'm venturing into a whole new.
On the
flavor.
rocks?
No.
No?
Always neat.
Always neat.
Always neat.
Always
Really?
neat. Yeah.
See, I like the little bit of water that the ice gives.
Yeah. Then you just dilute the
No.
flavor.
So you don't do any of the mixes with whiskey either, because I really wanted to try an old fashioned and I hated it.
You hated an old
I
fashioned?
hated an old fashioned. Now I
Why?
think they used really bad whiskey in it.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
man,
I won't
just
talk
did-
about the restaurant I was at, but I think they used very bottom shelf whiskey in it.
Gotcha.
I just made one a couple weeks ago. Actually, when we were cooking for the Corn and Brew, and I brought my Knob Creek single malt, Grand Marnier, and then orange bitters and regular bitters, and mix that up. Oh,
Did you muddle it? I know you're supposed to muddle.
there's nothing to muddle in an old fashioned. There's no.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything to muddle. Is there?
No.
Nothing in old fashioned.
All right, I'm gonna
I've
fact
tried
check
it
that.
once.
I mean,
and I thought, oh yeah, this is gonna be my new style. I
Right.
tried it and I was like, ugh, I wish I loved this more.
right? I was like, I wanted that and a cigar.
And maybe a bow tie.
Right, and now I'm out on both. I'm not doing cigars or whiskey anymore.
What about the bow tie?
I will do a bow tie, especially a Christmas one.
Bow ties are
Ooh.
cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
You're not going to see it with your beard.
Well, that's even better.
It'll be like a hide and seek boutique, like a little
Boutique?
boutique,
Boutique?
because it's there, but it's not really
Oh,
there.
Right.
Okay,
right.
I
It's
got
kind
you.
of a pop up going out. See, play on words a little bit.
No, I
We're
got
good.
you. Christian, I will make you an old-fashioned.
I want a good old fashioned. I want to enjoy an old fashioned. I like the idea of an old fashioned.
I'm not going to say you're going to enjoy it.
Okay.
I'll just make you a good one with some good whiskey.
Okay.
You know.
I'll drink it.
Okay.
I'll drink it. I'll try it. Now,
And we'll muddle it if you want.
I want it muddled. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to muddle it.
We'll muddle
Muddle
it.
I don't even know what that means.
Muddling
it's-
is when you have fruit or some type of leaf like mint or whatever.
like a mint julep
Right. You have to muddle.
with a muddling stick.
It's
Yes.
a true old fashioned supposed to have a cherry in it.
Yeah, but you're not gonna muddle the cherry.
No.
Are we really doing this? You're not gonna muddle it.
I don't
This
know.
is nonsense.
You
I
don't
know.
muddle an old-fashioned.
Okay. I love a White Russian. Does that have whiskey in it? It doesn't, does it?
No.
All right.
That's
okay.
vodka and Kahlua.
Yeah, I'm actually really good at making those. And a little cream. That's what makes it the White Russian.
Yes.
So I have not branched far off. So Alex, let me explain why. The one time I had whiskey, I got into a fight. So
How old were you?
good question. 22.
Oh, that's good fighting age.
Yeah. No, I was already a hothead.
That's a really.
And then I added whiskey on, and I called my mom the next day, and she was like, "What's going on?" I was like, "I got into a fight last night at a bar."
Ooh.
Like, yeah. She was like, "What were you doing?" I was like, "Drinking whiskey." She was like, "Oh no, your grandfather used to get in fights when he drank whiskey. You can't do it anymore." And I was like, "All right, I'm out. I'm done with whiskey."
Grandfather, it was probably legit whiskey too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it was a legit fight too.
Did you win? Because that's all anybody wants to know.
As a matter of fact, I did.
Did
So
you get arrested?
no, because my friends were smart enough to grab me and run me out of there before the cops showed up. So
That means he ran from the fight.
yeah. Oh, one punch. We both hit the floor. We ran. Like, yeah.
No one wins
That's
in a
awesome.
fight.
Nobody wins a fight.
No, I'm not proud of that. My
not saying
son's
you
probably
are.
going to hear this now. So
Yeah, well,
I mean,
I've been in a few scuffles myself.
this is rated like E on the thing, so he shouldn't be able to get to it, right? By the time he gets to it, he should have been in a fight by then.
I had somebody ask me at work what was the age that I fought my dad. And I was like, I've never fought my dad.
Yeah, have you
16
really?
What?
when he went after you.
Oh.
On the bottom of his driveway?
Yeah.
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 The
Go
one
back
that
to
lived off-
episode 1 or 2 for that one if you want to hear one.
He lived right at the bottom of my driveway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I never got into that one.
No, I didn't know that.
My dad's yelled at me, of course, but I'd never a fight.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, the guy at work that asked me that said that him and his son went blow for blow for about 15 minutes. I was like, what?
This turned dark like this beer real quick.
I know. Wow. we could change the subject.
All right. Well, you were talking whiskey, and I think fighting when I'm talking whiskey.
You went across the pond, you're fighting, everybody. It's all good.
All
My dad
right.
would kick my ass for a long time. I would have had to been real old.
yeah.
He'd probably still kick my ass. And he's
Yeah.
like on his second knee, third knee, whatever it's been.
Yeah, I don't think my dad could take me at this point. When I was 16 one time, I was laying on the floor eating a bowl of cereal, and he jumped on my back and put his arm around my neck. He goes, "What are you going to do now?" And I stood up. He was like, "I'm done."
He's going to listen to this.
Oh, I know. Catfish.
Yeah.
We need to go Facebook Live with a little boxing ring. You and
Oh,
Catfish getting it
man.
on.
Or at least sumo suits, right?
Oh, sumo
That's a good
suits.
idea.
That's a great idea.
Those still a thing?
He might
I
break
bet
a
we can
hip.
find them on
Find them.
Amazon.
Somebody's got
Amazon
one out
has
there.
everything.
Yeah,
That's
they do.
right.
All right. Well, we digressed there quite a bit about away from. So, what is your favorite whiskey?
Specifically, I would probably say single malt Scotch. There are a number of different styles from Scotland. I would probably say a Speyside style is going to be my favorite. Just a little bit of smoke in a lot of those, mostly clean, a lot of floral and honey notes. So it's a nice pour.
Nice.
Sit there and enjoy.
Nice. You make me want to try it again.
Just good old straight up Glenlivet for me. I've heard you
Glenlivet.
talk about Scotch.
Okay.
Yep.
That's respectable.
Yeah. One ice cube. Now, what ice cube? No,
no.
listen to me. I understand you like it neat. I like it cold. But my buddy's got the the big round Ice cube, so it doesn't, it's got a huge surface space, so it doesn't melt as fast.
Okay.
But at least I'm getting the cold. I like it cold. Sorry.
Can't do it cold. Yeah, I've got a bottle of Balvenie Double Oak. It was aged about 10 years in American bourbon barrels, and then switched over to sherry casks for a couple of years.
Holy mackerel!
Wow.
So
I would
it's got
totally,
that-
mix that with Coke.
No.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I just want to look. No one can see your face, but I
Man,
wanted
I
to see
really
it.
feel like he just almost left. He was on his way out.
Completely disgusted for sure.
I got to mess with you a little bit.
So,
I love doing that to bartenders. Give me the, 18-year-old scotch and mix that with Coke and extra ice. And they'll be like, get out.
Yeah, I'll take the $100 pour, mix it with a little bit of diet, please.
right. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That sounds good. I'd try it. You
I
know
tell you
how
what-
I like whiskey?
In your beer.
In Evan's Second Chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I almost want to put an ice cube in this and just let it sit.
It's at a good temperature right now, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's in a nice spot. So
Actually, it is because that bourbon's coming out. Those malts are coming out. I'm actually getting a little more chocolate now.
yeah, you know what? You're right. I am getting a little bit more of the chocolate now. Kind of middle of the tongue.
Let's go back to the deconstructed episode
Yeah.
when we said that coffee. Remember when you let
Right.
that thing sit for what
Yep.
was that, half hour almost?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it got close to room temperature. That thing was on point at that
Yeah, it
point.
was.
And that's what you're getting here too.
Yep.
The further you get a little bit closer to room temperature, the better this thing gets.
Kevin, I've been trying to hook this guy up with a beer job. Every time I hear one open, I'm like, dude, I got something for you. You actually talked to him over at Studebaker, didn't you?
I did. Yeah, that was I was considering that for a long time, but just with the family life, it wasn't
Yeah.
going to work out at that point. So had to pass it up, unfortunately. But
Well, I
he's
tell
got
you
a
what,
pretty good brewer over there right now.
They do, but I tell you what, the way they're going, they're going to need a second brewer here in the next year.
They're going to need a brewery here pretty soon. So, well, you said something about the family. Trying to mix in family with all this is something I wanted to talk to you about because I was thinking about all of us. Between the four of us, we have 11 kids,
Holy cow.
Yeah.
right? And I've been married
And
for
we're looking for a babysitter.
yeah, always.
Well, probably two.
We'll give you the email at the end of the episode, so that way any babysitters can hit us up. But 11 kids this year. Actually, in just a few weeks, I'll be married for 18 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Nice.
You've been married a long time.
I have. He'll be 21 August 12th.
I have some catching up to do.
Where are you at?
We were married in 2011, so what is that, 8 years?
Hey, good quick math. Nice.
Man, why did you not prep him for that? 'Cause his wife's going to be like, you don't even know how long we've been married?
Yeah, I was.
Oh,
right.
absolutely.
Right.
Oh,
I
I'm sitting
think-
here stalling trying to figure out how long I've been married.
But I'll give you a second to stall a little longer. So I got married 4 days after the attack on the trade centers. So I get a reminder every single year and in textbooks as to how many years and
Well, at least
it's
the
coming
mood
up.
was really good.
Yeah.
Everything was
Yeah.
upbeat.
Yeah, well, and then we left the country for 5 days.
Where'd you go?
We went on a cruise of the Western Caribbean, and we were delayed for 9 hours in Florida while the FBI searched the ship because it was the first time it came back to the United States.
Wow.
Now it's
Now, my son
gave
was
us a-
born on 9/11.
Oh, yeah?
It was a year before, so he was watching cartoons, and we had no idea what was going on.
Wow.
it's crazy. I mean, if we're going that way, September 11th, 2001, I was in college. You guys were probably all out by then.
Yep.
But
I had a child.
not Alex. But I lived near Chicago, so we had O'Hare, we had Midway planes all the time.
Yeah,
I remember going out that night,
nothing.
absolutely nothing in the sky.
It was
absolutely
eerie.
nothing. And I wondered in that moment, how many less UFO sightings were there in those 2 or 3 days? Speaking of Hop Station, we'll get
Yeah,
out there at some
yeah,
point.
yeah. We're going to be
We'll talk.
talking UFOs out
There's
there.
a little prelude to what we're going to be doing in the upcoming episodes.
Yeah,
But,
so-
yeah.
When I left for my honeymoon, we were actually the 4th flight to leave Chicago.
Wow.
And listen to this. Landing in St. Louis for our layover, which didn't take long, F-16 brings us in on the wing. And I was like, that is cool. And somebody goes, that was here to shoot us down if we were a threat. And I was like, what?
Yeah, lost its cool real quick, didn't it?
I'm gonna have to go back to the bathroom real quick. So
hand me the carry-on. I'm going to need to take that back with me, too.
So how do you get your wife to let you do all this brewing and leave her with 4 kids while you're out playing around with beer?
Well, it's not always she's watching 4 kids. It is tough to find a schedule. That's only why I do it a couple times a year, not nearly as often as I would like to.
Or as I'd like you to.
Well, yeah, there's that. But, the kids like to get involved a little bit, actually.
That's cool.
I keep them away from the hot stuff. I have a propane burner going and everything. But, Riley, my oldest, she'll like to come and help mix the mash when it's in the mash tun and everything. She's a pretty good sport. She stays home with the kids every day by herself, so it's 4 on 1 all the time. So she's kind of used to it. But I try and include them when I can to
That's cool.
give her a little bit of.
That's
a break
great.
on weekends.
So she has a full-time job, too.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, for sure.
For sure.
I mean, I would much rather. No, I'm going to take that back.
No stay-at-home dad for Thad?
I would totally be a stay-home dad.
Now that you only have Will.
Well,
He's got one in college.
I do have one in college. And I miss him a lot, but the whole thing with that is, it's talking about kids being expensive. What? The kid got half his college paid for. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Here's your bill, Dad.
Well, because we do the reviews, and I've never been a brewer, and I don't really inspire to. Like, I liked helping out Steve and Rick, but for the most part, I'm a consumer of beer. But my kids were like, well, when do we get a chance to do this? And I was like, well, when you're 21. And they were like, no, that doesn't work. They want to do it now. So that's why we started the FTK. So for the kids, Michiana Beer Reviewers for the kids, and they're doing all kinds of different reviews. Anytime I can find a soda or a root beer for them, I found out my oldest, Eli, loves birch beer.
Yeah,
So-
and Will loves to jump on there. I
Yep.
mean, so both are. So your 3 kids,
Yep.
and my youngest love to jump in and do the
Yeah, by the time this one airs,
beer?
by the time this airs, they will have already done it. But if you go check out MBR FTK for the kids, they're doing a bacon soda,
Oh wow!
and I think I'm gonna have to
Really?
get in on that one. Yeah,
Bacon?
bacon soda. Yeah, yeah. They just
Yeah,
did a buffalo wing
The
soda.
chemist is like, nah, I don't know.
Yeah. I'm down. You say bacon, I'm in.
Of course, I said the same about the
Maybe I can
jalapeno beer, and that actually turned out better than I was expecting.
Maybe
so.
I need to put some bacon soda and some whiskey. No.
with a bunch of ice.
A bunch of ice.
Bunch
yeah,
of ice,
Yeah, one
yeah.
of those big round ones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, like 5 of them
Okay.
in a big tumbler.
Okay.
I'm out.
I'm out.
You'd try anything once, right? And drinks is what I'm talking about.
Well, I kind of feel like you have to try everything once. Like, as far as like in a beer or a whiskey or a bourbon or anything, if someone says, hey, at least try this, and you know where it came from and you've got a good idea, there's nothing wrong with giving something a shot because you never know what you're going to love and what you're going to hate.
For sure.
And there might be something right in the middle of that. So, I don't know. I'm always a fan of trying it. I mean, you go to like a brew fest, you try to hit as much as you can.
Right.
But the problem is by the time you get to the end of that line, you might be missing something really great because you've had so much before it. And it's almost, I love Brewfest, but I wish there was a better way to handle that scenario where you're like, man, I just went through 25 different tastings and now I'm just shot. Like there's just too much of this at one point. So
Well, a lot of those beer fests too. What I'd like to do is I'll pick out something that I've never had first.
Right.
So if you pick out, all right, here's the 5 ones that have the crazy beers. Go to those first because at least, well, if you're halfway sober, you're gonna remember those, and then go try the what you like, the stouts. If you're a stout or malty guy, go try the stouts and the browns, or if you're IPA, then you go to those. But always try the crazy ones first because that's how you're gonna remember those. I mean, that's like the was it the baseball bat from
Oh, at the bat, yeah.
or at the bat?
That
the
was
baseball bat.
With the baseball bat.
With the
Oh,
baseball
yeah.
That's
bat.
what editing will do for you. You hear it so many times, you remember everything.
But that is, a mead. And I never thought I would like meads. That is phenomenal.
Right.
Great mead.
Yeah.
You know what I can already tell?
And that's for misbehaving real quick. Sorry. Just to throw that out.
What I can already tell. Remember episode 1? It's not that far ago. If you want to go back and listen to them all, I said I'm not a huge stout fan.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's going to happen during this podcast? I'm going to absolutely love stouts.
Well,
No question. Right here.
When
Right
we
there.
when we
Right
started,
there.
Michiana Beer Reviewers is coming up also on their second birthday, and when we started, neither of us wanted anything to do with IPAs, and I had been crushing IPAs all summer.
Yes.
And I came into this thing enjoying IPAs, right? So it's going to be interesting to see how, especially when we get into crafts and we get into micro, and like, it's going to be interesting to see how I evolve in this entire process. So it's going to be awesome to watch.
It is. I mean, it's incredible. I did not like IPAs at all. But then the double IPAs came out, which has a little more maltiness, a little more malt backbone. It's amazing that, okay, now I like this because it's got the malt backbone. I'm going to drink this. But then it involves me into, and like last night, we were at Rue 152. That is the best. I'm not a Goza guy at all.
It was amazing. A peach goza.
But their peach Goza, and I couldn't tell you the name off the top of my
No,
head.
I
He
couldn't
said
either.
it 95 times to us
Yeah.
last night.
In the episode coming out, and by the time this is out, it's already been out, is the Freedom Park episode we did out there in Plymouth, Indiana. Remember your mango?
Yes.
Your mango, and you loved it, and I was like,
Yes.
I'm gonna hate this. It was a mango. What was it? Mango peach What
And
was-
apricot.
Oh yeah, the
And- oh my
450
And
Yeah,
it
the
looked like a
450 brew.
slushy. That's what it was called, slushy XL or whatever it was, right?
Right.
stone fruit
Yep,
slushy.
stone
Yep.
fruit,
Yep.
And Alex, I'm telling you, I looked at that thing. I said, not a chance, not a chance, because I'm not a mango guy. I'm not. Apricot, no way. I was like, I took a drink, gave it back to him, and I wanted it back in my hand immediately.
Nice.
Like, it's amazing what talented people can do with just different flavors that you would
Yeah.
never think
Yep.
should work together. You know, kind of like beer and bourbon, right? Like,
Right.
it's fantastic.
It is.
Yep.
And Alex just pulled off a miracle again.
Yep.
He did.
Sir, thank you.
So that ethanol guy,
Still better than Dragon's Milk.
it is.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't just say that just because you're sitting here either, because as reviewers, we found out brewers don't want us to blow smoke at them either. So
No.
they want to know what we truly think of the beer. Steve at Selfman Brewworks is always asking us, he's like, bash one. I'm like, well, you got to make a bad one. Like, so right now he's killing it.
He
At
is.
some point, he's going to hit one that we're not going to like watermelon, cucumber, wheat ale. I'm sorry, Rick.
Well, Rick was going for, some summertime
Right.
taste and not necessarily for
Yeah,
us.
right. And I think he was playing with the kitchen a little bit there because they also did smoked shrimp tacos with watermelon and cucumber on them. Sounds horrible. Tasted amazing.
Oh, yeah. Kip, chef over at Studebaker, man. Or Tippecanoe Place, excuse me.
Yeah.
Studebaker Brew, Tippecanoe Place. Same entity. But Kip over there kills his food now. I'm so glad they brought him in. He's killing the food over there.
Yep. So sometimes you could swing for it. Sometimes you're going to hit it. Sometimes you're going to miss.
Right.
So, well, Alex, we really appreciate you taking some time out of your night since we brought you out kind of late for this one. Sorry.
And we really appreciate your beer.
Yeah.
Oh, my pleasure.
Absolutely.
That was really the reason I asked you out here, is I wanted another one. But thank you so much for coming on out. Any thoughts of expanding it? Because you got a little baby, right?
Yeah, he's 4.5 months right now. So
Oh, I thought he was a little older than that. You have a
No,
little baby. You sleeping yet?
yeah,
Good.
he's a pretty good little sleeper. But yeah, we're staying pretty busy with 4 of them running around now.
Man, you're on zone defense.
Oh my God! I just was gonna say that. As soon as you hit 3, zone.
It's
You're
a
just
different
playing
game.
zone.
Yeah, it's a
You're
different
like,
game.
I hope the oldest one is old enough to, I don't know. Can you get cornflakes? Like, I don't, because I'm out. I'm out of time. I got this thing to do and that thing to do.
Yep.
No, I tell people all the time. I said I love number 3. Like Ian, I love him. Like he's changed the way I view love, and he's my best shot at an athlete. 2 is so good. 2 was so good. It was so easy.
I had a friend. I have a friend. He used to call his son 401k. He was a really solid soccer player, so he used to call him his retirement plan.
Yeah, my tax deductions, they are wonderful for that. So,
They are. Well, I got one in college, so
yeah.
Not 401k is what you're trying to say. The opposite of 401k.
bank bleed. That's what I call him. But thank God he's a great student because
Yeah, my wife's already pushing my kids to become electricians and pipe fitters.
They need to get hooked up with Mike Rowe. Have you seen the Mike Rowe Works program?
yes,
He's donated like $5 million into scholarships for trade jobs. Like,
We need to
that
get
guy is.
We need to get him on the
Oh,
podcast.
dude. Have you heard his podcast?
yes,
Yeah.
it's awesome. I listen to it a
Best
lot.
thing ever. Like, I mean, sorry. This one's the best
Right,
one
right.
ever.
Second
But
best thing.
Second would be Mike Rowe.
That's great. But no, I'd like to actually. I want to hook him up with Hello Gorgeous because he does that whole give back.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Mike Rowe, if he listens, look up Hello Gorgeous.
I can't imagine how he's not.
Why would
listening
he would
to
not
this.
be? You're
Well,
right.
since we're the first,
You're right. The best.
the best, and he's only second best. He should listen to ours.
And speaking of
He's
best,
like, man, what are those guys doing? How can I get better?
right.
beer.
He goes, how do I get my voice to sound more like Thad? He's got an amazing voice. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I always loved a great voice, and he's got a good one. So, but we're going to let you get back home to your family. So quit using up your night here. Thank you so much for coming in and talking about brewing and whiskey and anything else you want to talk about before you go?
I don't know. I think I'm good for now.
Are you gonna shoot to do some distilling or
That's
a thought?
I wish if it were legal in the States, but
Oh, yeah, we forgot about that detail,
Yeah.
didn't we?
I don't think about that.
Few permits and licenses for that, don't we?
Yeah, because it's in state of Indiana. It's legal to own a kettle,
Right.
It's
illegal to actually distill.
distill alcohol.
Yes.
It is legal to distill water or essential oils, but you cannot distill alcohol.
What if you do it
That
on
is just-
accident?
That is just bogus.
Accident. Well, it's because I guess we found something else to talk about, but yeah, it can be a dangerous thing if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
There are a lot of other dangerous alcohols like methanol,
Right.
fusel oils that you can distill off, and if you do end up drinking that, they say you can go blind from moonshine. It's because they don't take just the ethanol out of it.
Ah.
And so, yeah, if you don't do it
I have
right.
a friend who wants me to drink moonshine tomorrow,
Oh, yeah?
and now you just scared me.
You should be scared.
Wait, time out.
I should be blind as hell right now.
Going blind for moonshine is real?
Probably not.
Okay.
But it's
Damn.
definitely...
We're going to do a whole myth one, too. We're going to do a whole myth episode. I'm just going to throw that one in there.
Oh, for sure.
Oh,
Now,
absolutely.
I've heard that you can go blind doing something else. You know what I'm talking?
I don't know what you're talking about at all.
With your hairy palm. I don't know.
We're really digressing.
But yeah,
Alex, anything about that?
So when we do the myths, I may or may not have my hands on some White Lightning. I don't know. Just
White Lightning? That's
I'm
moonshine,
sure
I guess?
I'm sure it was legal.
Right.
oh, it's legal.
Legally
It's the
made.
legal stuff.
Right.
Well, I don't
Okay.
want that.
Yeah, we don't want the outlaw stuff.
Right.
Oh,
The stuff Alex is making in his garage right now.
What?
well,
Allegedly.
Oh, sorry. All right. Well, let's let you get out of here. Get
Yeah.
back to your family.
and now the feds are going to show up, so
I'm
you
sorry.
might need to get back to them too.
They're not listening to this.
I know they don't
No,
care.
just Mike Rowe. But we'll let you get back to your family. So that's that Ethanol guy. Hopefully you guys will be able to try his beer sometime other than away from us. Otherwise, show up where we're at because you never know when he'll pop up.
That's right.
That's right.
Yep. So thank you so much. And let's go ahead and wrap up this episode because it's time to go home.
That's right.
Awesome. Where can they follow us?
You can follow the Beer and Nonsense podcast on Twitter at Beer and Nonsense, all spelled out. We also have an email now at beerandnonsense@gmail.com. If you have an idea, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. And we also have a fan page on Facebook as well that you can join, and that's Beer and Nonsense as well, and see more of the Michiana beer reviewers and all of the reviews we're doing and everything we're doing. We do events and we go live from the events and having a good time. That's mostly on Facebook at Beer Reviewers, or you can search for Michiana Beer Reviewers. Also on Instagram and YouTube, we have the Michiana Beer Reviewers Beer Tube, and you're going to start seeing some of this stuff on there at some point as well. So,
And don't forget to log on to 97.7 rock.com, because we are also doing the legendary brew review once a month with those guys. Yep. So we're always checking out new breweries. Last night was phenomenal with Rue 152. Yeah. So
put a brewery in Napanee, Indiana, and it works.
They're killing it.
Yep.
Killing I love that.
Yep. It
Embrace
is so
the
good.
Pace, baby. Indiana.
That's the name of their beer.
And that's one of my favorite
really?
beers from them.
Yeah, baby.
Yes. So there we go, guys.
All right. Let's dink it one more time. Yep. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for listening to the Beer and Nonsense podcast. Please rate, review, and subscribe. Like the guys on Twitter and follow their Facebook group. Enjoy the Michiana Beer Reviewers beer reviews on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Until next time, cheers.